Experience is a really critical part of what we do. It's why people come back to us again and again. A lot of it is why people love us.
It is important because members join us because they believe in what we do and they believe in the conservation aims of the charity.
We've got some really stretching targets around reaching carbon net zero by 2030.
We have so many amazing locations in really quite rural, remote places.
Our real focus to make sure that National Trust achieves its objectives and that their drivers and their visitors have a really good experience and they can get their charging when they need it.
It's the way that we embrace them when they arrive. Providing fantastic EV charging facilities is part of that warm embrace. When we were looking for a supplier, there were some things that really stood out for us. One was to understand that it was about people, not about things or assets or energy necessarily. That, of course, that's part of the provision, but what really stood out was Raw understood that this was about the experience that people were going to have when they arrived and the stories that we can tell on the back of it, and that really struck a chord with us.
It's a turnkey solution we're providing that goes all the way from surveying the sites, understanding the grid constraints and power connections, working on the solutions, the designs, in order to make sure that it's the right solution technically, but it's also the right solution for the visitor and the member, then through to installing the equipment, putting the systems in place, and making sure the support is there afterwards.
Installing modern EV charging infrastructure in historic environments is always going to be challenging, so we work together to work out the best way to make that happen that was sympathetic to the sites. We'll be focusing initially on nearly 300 properties plus outdoor locations.
So National Trust is a huge organisation. It's much bigger actually than many people think. It's got some fantastic properties and sites, and goes from beaches to castles across much of the UK. They spoke to a number of operators, as you would expect them to do, looked at a number of different approaches to doing this. I think the reason they chose Raw, and to be honest I think why we were so happy to work with them, was their focus is primarily twofold. It's one about their guest experience, their member experiences, being able to visit these great sites, and secondly it's about sustainability in the environment. And for us that's exactly the right type of partner, and we can get behind that because we're very aligned on what we're trying to achieve.
So I work really closely with the programme manager at Raw Charging. We have developed a really open, honest, transparent relationship with Raw based on trust and some really fundamental principles that we agreed early on in the programme.
So I was really keen in that process to understand that whoever we partnered up with had really thought about the National Trust, what would be important to us. And that's what I saw from Raw. They'd already looked and thought about historic environment. To me, that was something they brought that was apart from the other providers that we interviewed.
So we've got a big, broad mission to tackle climate change. So EV charging forms a pretty central plank of that because it allows us to reach out, not only providing clean energy to our visitors as they arrive in EVs, but also getting across the message that we're serious about this. So it's a key component in helping our visitors and our members just get a little bit greener.
It's exactly what you want as an electric car user. You just want to be able to plug in, contactless, no problem.
Yeah, these are quite significant investments. We're making, building the infrastructure for their visitors, their guests, and their members. So what we're doing is we're helping fund all of that. To put in charging infrastructure across hundreds of those sites is a big program. Fortunately, we have some great people within our company who are very good at doing that.
We're going to be infusing the whole of the trust with nice, clean energy. Couldn't be more exciting.